Hi sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, sweetheart, kindly smash that subscribe button, turn on your notifications so you are notified each time I upload. And please give this video a thumb up. I appreciate you all so much, and I am saying a very big shout out to every one of you for all the love and support you all give me here. I am truly grateful. Thank you all so much. So today we'll be talking moment in white history. This is more like a continuation, and this is absolutely eye-opening, right? He started by saying that 20 pieces of legislation that was passed to protect white violence, right? And he went further to say that most of the laws were passed in order to protect black people from white violence. But at the same time, the laws, you can imagine making a law to protect people from them, and then the laws are also against you. That is really crazy, you know. And this was after slavery. Vagrant's law was passed. I am gonna ask, why was this law passed after slavery? Because you know who the vagrants are gonna be. The vagrants of the day are also black people, because that was when slavery ended, and some of them do not even have plantation, right, to live in. Some were always probably out looking at, like, moving around, trying to also maybe make things happen for them, or, like, you know, trying to make a living, right? And also they were captured, right? So he went further to say that being free in America at that time was actually a crime and an offense. You know what? Stay glued to the screen. I'm going to just roll this clip. We'll come back to talk about it. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. And straight up, I am rolling the clip.
Hey, good morning. Here's a moment in white history. Did you know that since 1865, the United States government has passed 20 civil rights acts? True story. That's 20 pieces of legislation that were designed to protect non-white people, specifically black people, from white anger, white hatred, and white violence. 20 pieces of legislation that were supposed to make white people treat non-white people with civility. The first Civil Rights Act was passed in 1865. We know it as the 13th Amendment. It abolished slavery and involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for anyone convicted of a crime. That means slavery still exists within the United States. Now, the very next laws that were passed were loitering laws and vagrancy laws. Now, vagrants are people without a home or a job or a means to support themselves. And who were the vagrants of the day? Well, newly freed black people who had neither plantation to live or work on. Simply being free in America at this time was a criminal offense. And standing around businesses or farms looking for work was also a criminal offense, because now you're loitering. And overnight, the prison population went from 95% white to 95% black. Immediately after that, we got the Civil Rights Act of 1866, which guaranteed the rights of all citizens to make and enforce contracts and to purchase, sell, or lease property. Why is this important? Well, it's because the 13th Amendment made slavery a punishment for anyone convicted of committing a crime, and vagrancy made simply being free a criminal offense, and standing around looking for work made loitering a criminal offense, right? So now you've been arrested for committing a crime, and now you're the property of the state. And the Civil Rights Act of 1866 made it legal for ordinary citizens to write contracts and lease property, which made it perfectly legal for prisons to make contracts with ordinary citizens to lease convicts back to the plantations that they were just freed from to work for free. That's how we got convict leasing. The next Civil Rights Act was the 14th Amendment. It declared that anybody born or naturalized in the United States was a United States citizen, and it gave voting rights to any male over the age of 21. After that, they passed the 15th Amendment. This was passed in 1870 because white men didn't want black men voting. That same year, we got the Civil Rights Act of 1870, or the first Ku Klux Klan Act, because, you know, white people didn't want us to vote. A year later, they passed the second Klan Act, because, you know, reasons. Now, all of these were added Because the Supreme Court ruled in Scott v. Sanford that the Constitution does not apply to free or enslaved black people and that the Negro has no rights the white man is bound to respect. And this has been a moment in white history. Hey, good morning. Here's a moment in white history. After Congress passed the third Ku Klux Klan Act, because white people were well into their villain phase at this point in time, a man named Charles Sumner introduced the Civil Rights Act of 1870. His first draft spoke of things like ending slavery, integration, equality, and equity. He really believed that black people were equal to white people in every way and should be treated as such. But this is 1870, just 5 years after the army was sent into Texas to free black people from enslavement. And at this point in time, many white people were saying things like, haven't we done enough for them already? I mean, we gave them their freedom. What more do they want? They should be in a better position by now. I mean, it's just been 5 years that they've been free. They should be doing so much better than they are right now. Why should we have to spend so much time and effort helping them get to where we are? We gave them their freedom. What more do they want? And men like Charles Sumner responded with, they want freedom, equality, equity, inclusion, integration. They want to be treated as simply a human being. Is that too much to ask? So in 1870, he introduced the Civil Rights Act with that language. But he was met with opposition from Democrats, who were the conservatives of their day. So they did what all conservatives do when they don't like a bill. They had it stripped of anything meaningful. For 5 years, they went back and forth, hemmed and hawed, until they came up with something that they liked. They had it stripped of any mentioning of integration, equality, equity, freedom. And after conservatives stripped his bill of anything meaningful, he died in 1874, just 1 year before his bill became a law. It was May 11th, 1874, when Charles Sumner died of a massive heart attack. And as he lay dying in bed, surrounded by friends, family, and loved ones, he looked into the eyes of Frederick Douglass and said, "Don't let the bill fail. You must take care of my civil rights bill." Those were his last words. And in 1875, just 10 years after black people were freed from enslavement, his weakened Civil Rights Act became law. It was now illegal to discriminate against people in public, in all accommodations, on land or sea, which lasted until 1883, when the Supreme Court repealed the 1875 Civil Rights Act, citing that the Constitution just doesn't apply to private companies. And then we were right back where we started. Charles Sumner had been fighting for the rights of enslaved Africans and Native Americans for a very long time. Matter of fact, in 1856, he was beaten bloody on the Senate floor by a Democratic congressman from South Carolina because he spoke out against slavery and wound up clowning the man's cousin in the process. And that's how Charles Sumner became a moment in white history. You know that since 1865, the United States government has passed 20 Civil Rights Acts?
Now, why would someone need to constantly have laws, rules, regulations changed? Because they're sore losers. Really, it's because those people have an inferiority complex. Oh, I did that wrong. Inferiority complex. Constant feelings of inadequacy or insecurity in your daily life due to a belief that you are physically or mentally inferior to others, whether such belief is based on a rational assessment or not. Now wait, hear me out, because y'all be getting feisty. Now this is a far removed thought from what people have been socialized to accept as a group of people, white men, having a superior nature to other beings on this planet. So you leave the place where you're from because you don't want to be oppressed. Now, whether you thought it was because they thought they were better than you or you thought they were better than them, doesn't matter. So you come to a land, steal the land, kill the people, go steal more people to till the land. Now, why would you do that? Oh, it's because you were smarter than everyone else. No, it's because you didn't know how to till the land and things kept killing you. So you had to find people who were better suited to do the job that you were inferior to do. It wasn't because you couldn't be bothered with the little things. It's because you were dying and you were getting baked by the sun and you couldn't handle the elements. So what did you do to the very women that birthed you and could birth your children? You removed any possibility for them to have rights to do what? Own land? Or do anything that could outsmart you, or they could do better than you. It wasn't because you wanted to protect them because they were fragile. It's because they were the only way you'd be able to reproduce more of you. So in order to maintain this ruse of superiority, once something happens, you have to move the goalposts. Because when people realize you're really not a good sportsman, that you're not as fit as you want people to believe, you got to change the rules. One of the most important ways to maintain the rules and to maintain your power is to maintain the power over reproduction. Now, see, when slavery was allowed, even when the indigenous people were in the United States, you could easily separate them. It's white people, it's black people, it's natives. But what you didn't count on is that as time changed and the laws changed, the browning of the world would happen. That the global majority would now spread and seep in to the very thing that was able to allow you to separate people. It's hard to practice racism when everybody looks the same. That's the reason why they're willing to destroy this planet. Because before, where they could separate people, they can't anymore. There can never be slavery again. Because who's who? So you stop people from knowing history, change laws that create equity and equality, continue to move the goalpost. I think you heard the term before, how people say snowflakes. It's like a bully playing a game, and when they lose the game, they beat everybody up. But then they still see where they can lose. Superior? Oh, don't be daft.
Yeah, so this is all we got from that, and trust me, this man is a genius. I mean, he broke everything down so great. And I am going to ask, there is actually a video that will be coming. I don't know when that video is going to will be coming, but they created race and they are lying that they did not create anything. I mean, I don't know why they are so scared and keep changing. They keep changing the law because they want it to suit them. They just do not want to lose that power, because they know that if they lose that power, I mean, they are doomed. And they are trying as much because they think they are superior, because that is what it is, They are trying as much as they can to maintain that power, because the truth is that the table is already turning around and they know that they are going to be left with something. They are going to be left with something. Now, let me ask you something. There is something that I listened to. I was like, man, these people are really unbelievable. You stole people, bring them to your land. I mean, treated them so badly, and eventually get them right, strip the right from them. And also, they give you right, and they also look for a way to take the rights back. Is that not delusional? I mean, it's delusional. This is where I'm going to draw the curtain. Thank you so much for all the love and support. I appreciate you all so much, and see you all in my next video. Bye for now.